Chapter 16. Planet Vegeta. As is the norm, King Vegeta and his son, Prince Indivaya, sit upon their thrones within the Imperial Palace. They try to sit together at least 3 times a week, to hold counsel with the people of their empire. Any scion, big or small, could petition them for help, advice, or anything of the like. Today, they were to be petitioned by a young female scion, named Sana. Next, Vegeta yelled, as bored as ever. The attendant standing by, holding the data pad with today's information, taps a few keys to alert the next petitioner. The doors to the chamber open automatically as the scion approaches. At 13, Sana stands at barely above 4 feet. Her hair is wrapped tightly in a low bandana, pushing her long flowy hair back. She swiftly approaches, kneeling and giving the customary bow. "My lords," she says, as a way of greeting. "Rise, Sana. Tell us, what is it you have come for today?" Prince Indivaya asks. Rising, she stands proudly. "My lords, I've come to petition for access to the gravity chambers." Vegeta and Indivaya share a look between themselves. Indivaya pulls up his datapad, checking a few different items. "And why should we allow you access, Sana, when there are much older scions in greater need?" King Vegeta asks. "My lord, while at the academy, my growth was considered the highest, next to the prodigy KLL. Even now, at 13, I'm ranked in the top 200 in the empire. My team's mission record is second to none. I believe that with access, I could become a true asset to the empire." Sana explains. Indivaya shares the data he's pulled up with his father. "It does say here that you've done good work for the empire, and that you speak truly on your current ranking. However, with that being said, there are others in the empire that have greater need. We currently only have the 2 chambers, with another in production, but it's certain to be at least another 2 months till that one is up and running. If you can be patient, we can give you 4 hours a week once the 3rd chamber is ready." Sana grimaces, before nodding. "Thank you, my lords. I can be Padash." The doors behind them slam open, a second attendant rushing in. "My king, there has been a Class 10 explosion in Sector 32X, system coordinates 9045XY. He says, nearly out of breath from rushing over. "What?" Vegeta exclaims, rising from his throne. "Meet me in sensor room. Sana, you're dismissed." Vegeta and Indivaya both rush from the room, before launching into the sky. Neither sees the look of rage cross Sana's face as they depart. It's a quick flight across the complex to the sensor array room, where they find the staff in disarray. "Status," Vegeta orders, as he enters. "My king, our sensors alerted us just moments ago to the situation. We're currently reading a Class 10 explosion, with spikes as high as Class 11. One of the scions at the readout announces. "Father, what does that mean?" Indivaya asks. "It means something has gone terribly wrong," he answers, before turning back. "What was the timetable on that system star?" "It was a trinary star system, my lord. Our previous data show that none of them were capable of going supernova. We don't have an explanation of what occurred. The sensors are giving off strange readings right now, and there is a large amount of interference." The worker explains. "Will it affect us?" Vegeta asks. "Yes, my lord. Due to the distance, whatever happened 3 days ago. Within the next 10 hours, we'll receive a large dose of gamma radiation. Our systems will shut down for the 4 to 6 hours it takes for it to pass, but that should be the extent of the damage. There are a few outposts that we've already warned to increase shielding, as they do not have an atmospheric planet to shield them naturally." He explains. "Keep the systems up for as long as possible, and find me an explanation," he orders, before swooping from the room. Prince Indivaya follows right after. "Father," Indivaya asks as they leave to head back to the palace. "This stinks of ill timing. It seems that it's been one thing after another the past few years," Vegeta says as they approach their entrance. Indivaya nods, accepting that. "It certainly has felt busy." Space. Sensors lit up all around it, feeding information into the mainframe. Calculations upon calculations followed. In just 18 seconds, it had an effective answer. This would be its only chance. Planet Vegeta, 7 hours later. An alert passes through each datapad and scouter in the Empire. As the gamma radiation wave passes through the local galaxy, system after the system shuts down to protect itself. As the wave crashes over planet Vegeta, a lone scion stands atop the highest tower in the Imperial Palace, staring directly up into the sky. "It's been a long day," Indivaya thought, as his scouter beeps twice, before going silent. He stands there, quietly, watching the sun cross the sky, waiting for the radiation to pass. 5 hours pass before his scouter lights up momentarily. "Emergency! We're Hysisis. There are Soisisis, oh god." He hears before his scouter explodes in a mass of sparks. What the fuck was that? Only a level 2 alert could bypass an all-system shutdown. he says, jumping from the tower and flying to the entrance. As he approaches, the doors are thrown open as King Vegeta exits. "Did you get that alert as well, father?" he asks. "I did." The sensor people say it came from one of the outposts 2 systems away. "We don't have a reading on it, as the broadcast fried several systems. Until the radiation clears, we're blind," Vegeta explains. His eyes move across the sky, before locking on a distant spot near the horizon. Pointing, he says, "Right there. Whatever just happened to cause them to send a level 2 alert in the middle of a gamma storm, happened right there." Indivaya follows his finger, alighting on the same spot. "Send a runner to the first strike force. The ships are shielded well enough for the trip. Send Kakarot to discover what happened there," Vegeta ordered. Outpost 2A. The Scion space pod made the trip in just 12 minutes at subliminal speeds. With little less than an hour remaining till communications came back up, Kakarot was hoping that whatever issue he came across, it wouldn't be cause for true alarm. Outpost 2A is situated on a moon, circling a large gas giant. The landing lights are still active, due to it being on the dark side of the planet for another 20 minutes. As the pod slammed into the landing pad and came to rest, he popped it open and hopped out. "Hello," he called, checking to see if any of the port attendants were on location. No one answers, so he begins to investigate. The outpost is dead silent. Not a single one of the 38 personnel are on location. What the hell happened here? He wonders as he enters the command post on location. A quick check of the system shows that none of the datapads assigned here are online. A further check shows that they all went offline at the same time less than an hour previous. Shrugging, he exits, making his way back to his space pod. As he exits the main building, he sees movement out of the corner of his eye, but there is nothing there after turning fully. He closes his eyes, listening intently. Top, top, top. He hears something around one of the buildings, so quickly makes his way over there. The lights in this section are either off or burned out because it's blanketed in darkness. As he rounds one of the corners, he sees a figure standing in the distance, masked by the shadows. "Hello," he calls over. The figure is standing completely still, not a twitch of movement. As the small moon of Outpost 2A circles around the planet, it begins to experience what amount to sunrise. As the sky begins to light up, the shadows lessen. "What the hell?" he asks, as the sun quickly passes the horizon. The sunlight gleams brightly, off of cold, silver metal. The humanoid figure stands at 4 feet 11 inches, his thin figure striking against the harsh corners and angles that make up the outpost. As the sun rises fully, Kakarot sees his foe fully. "Hello, monkey," says Frieza, in a cold, metallic voice. "Space, unknown region. You have awoken. HP fully restored. New title unlocked. Limits lifted. +10 to energy modifier." My eyes snapped open, and I jerked in place, spinning through the air. I was spinning so quickly that I had to shut my eyes as the starfield was making me actually sick. A check of my HUD had my heart thudding in my chest. I was flying through space at over 12,000 meters per second. I push myself to Super Saiyan and begin using my energy to slow down. This was going to take a while. What the fuck happened while I was out? I thought, as I finally began slowing down. It took almost 5 hours to slow to a stop, even after I pushed to a ×4 Super Kyoken, which had a power level of over 1 billion, due to the increase in my energy modifier. I try and find an energy source nearby to lock onto, to instant transmission to, but there is nothing anywhere nearby. I can only hope that King Kai happens to check in on me sometime soon. Outpost 2A. Heh heh heh. Kakarot huffs, clutching his arm to his stomach. It had been a hard-fought battle, but he'd done it in the end. It may have cost him 3 fingers, some broken ribs, and a chunk out of his thigh, but he'd done it. Frieza's broken, metal body lay as a twisted ruin in a crater nearly half a mile across. The landscape around them was decimated from the fight, with the entire outpost a smoldering mess. Kakarot begins slowly walking back to his space pod, needing to report what has happened here. The fuck was that? KLL said he was dead. Did his old empire have robot clones or some shit? Kakarot asks, talking to himself. Well no, actually. Comes a metallic voice behind him. Kakarot whips around, finding himself face to face with another metal Frieza. A harsh slap across the face from Frieza sends him crashing to the ground. You see, monkey, while I was floating through space, I came across the most amazing thing. The Geet Star, it absorbed me, but my mind was too strong for it, and I quickly took it over. It really is the most amazing thing. It even gave me a new body, he says, flexing his wrist. Or two, Frieza says, as a second metal Frieza lands. Kakarot stares up in horror as the gas giant rotates above, and the big Geet Star comes into view, floating on the gas giant, absorbing parts of it. One of the metal Frieza reaches down, grabbing Kakarot by the hair, lifting him till their eyes are level. When I'm done with you, I'm going to destroy your entire planet. There will be no more scions left alive after today. He explains. He tosses Kakarot into the air, slapping him away with his tail, causing him to crash hard into the ground 20 feet away. But that doesn't mean we can't have fun for right now. They both say, as one, space, God damn it, King Kai. Where are you when I need you? I think, still floating in the middle of fucking nowhere. Otherworld, King Kai's planet. I really feel like I should be doing something, King Kai says as he relaxes in his large bathtub. He concentrates for a moment, checking in on Krillin and Tien's training. Seeing that they were doing just fine, he added more bubbles and leans back. It's good to be king, Outpost 2A. They're fucking playing with me. Kakarot thought as he tried in vain to blast the two metal Frisia. His blasts were blanketing the landscape below, but they always seemed to be a step ahead of him, no matter what he did. Abandoning the futile endeavor, he pushed all his rage into his energy and blasted off towards one of the machines. The machine was too busy dodging around the remaining blasts to notice Kakarot's approach, which allowed him to get in close enough to attack physically. Kakarot, as a Super Saiyan, was actually stronger than both machines. Their speed, however, matched his own and exceeded it in some ways. A hard punch to its face sent it reeling, allowing him to catch back up to it, kicking it in the metal stomach. It doesn't help that punching these damn things is like punching a metal wall, he thought, as his knuckles ripped open from the two-fisted punch. He lands on its chest, knocking it back. He jumps back, barely dodging the second machine's entrance to the battle, as its tail slices through the air where his chest was moments before. He blasts that one, blinding it temporarily, and slips into its guard. Grabbing it by the arm, he slams it into the other, as it tries to take him from behind. Fuck. I can't keep this up, he screams, as they quickly disentangle and angle back towards him. They both raise a single hand, launches rapid beams of energy at Kakarot, which he starts flipping away from. One of the beams connects, flipping him sideways with the momentum, causing him to miss the landing. As he hops back to his feet, flaring his aura as hard as he can, one of the machines knees him in the chin, knocking him senseless. He stumbles back, barely getting his guard up, catching two combined punches from the machines on his arms, shoving him back. The planet has rotated enough that the sun is starting to set on the little moon, and visibility is dropping like crazy. Kakarot is using his golden aura to light up the area around him, as the metal reflects the light easily enough, but it's soon to be pitch black. Almost as though reading his mind, as the area slips into darkness, the two metal Frisia drop back into the darkness. Ah! Looks like this filthy monkey can't see in the dark. He hears, coming from the darkness around him, a flash of light from the left, and one of the machines is at his throat. Block, block. Kakarot overextends for a punch and is caught in the stomach by a swift uppercut. His ribs pop, the previous brakes grinding against each other. As the air whooshes out of him, the machines jump back into the darkness. Kakarot retches, but holds it together, getting his guard back in place. It was going to be a long night. I began meditating, trying to focus on my memories of what happened after I had tossed Tools into the dead zone. It was slow going, and all I was able to get were flashes. From what I had gathered, I had quickly transformed into a golden Oozaru. What followed was a lesson in destruction. I rampaged across the planet, destroying everything in sight. Mori had attempted to stop me multiple times, but like a fly, I simply swatted him away. The Tree of Might I ripped apart with my bare hands. I don't quite understand what happened next, but the planet was quickly destroyed. As I floated through space, the suns must have pissed me off, as they quickly followed the planet. I had pushed one of the stars into another, using a beam from my mouth, which caused it to go supernova. The resulting explosion launched me from the system, knocking me out. Whatever became of Mori and the Namekian Dragonballs, I'd probably never know. Outpost 2A. It had only been half an hour, but the machines were quickly wearing Kakarot down. The constant use of Super Saiyan, the back and forth attacks that came from the darkness, and the already weary Saiyan was on his last legs. I don't have a choice, he thought as he begins to flood his body with energy. He squares up as another machine flies out of the darkness, slamming into him. He catches the kick in his hands, quickly slamming it into the ground. Concentrating all the energy he had into his feet, he yanked up hard, while slamming both feet down into its chest. There is a loud snap, as the chest caves in, sparks flying out, circuitry flung into the air from the hit. Jumping off, the other machine slices through the air where he was just a split second ago. Kakarot launches himself into the air, trying his best to put space between himself and the killer machine, when a third one slams into him, knocking him from the sky. This is it. I just can't keep going, he thinks as it slams him into the ground, the other machine flying over to join in. He tries to push more energy into his limbs, but he simply can't budge the machine standing on his chest. You put up a good fight, monkey. It's nice to see that my upgrades allow me to go toe-to-toe with even a Super Saiyan. The metal Frisia, standing on his chest, laughs. The other one lands, stand next to his prone form. Together, they raise both hands, building an absolutely massive amount of energy into their palms. Don't worry over much, monkey. The rest of your race will be following you, they say, together. There is a bright flash of golden light, and the one on his chest is smashed away, parts flying everywhere. The second one turns, but is knocked away by the second flash of light. Kakarot! Yells Prince Indivaya. Hey guys. Ha ha ha. I didn't expect to see you here. Kakarot moans out, while Indivaya gives him 2 med shots. King Vegeta stands to the side, ready for the return of the machine he had knocked away. The sensors came back online after the radiation passed. They lit up like crazy with the energy you were putting off, so we knew it must be serious. We left at once. Now, explain what the fuck is happening. Frisia got access to something called the Big Geat Star. It's currently attached to the gas giant here, using its atmosphere to generate power. It somehow produces bodies that he can use. I've killed 2 of them, but each one I kill another just replaces. Kakarot explains as he drags himself back to his feet. Damn it! You mean there are more than just the 2? Indivaya asks. Yeah, but I don't know how many. It could be limitless, for all I know. Kakarot says. Here it comes. Indivaya yells, right as the remaining metal Frisia enters the light of their auras. It tries to swipe Indivia's head off, but he ducks it, as Vegeta slams a kick into its side, launching it away. He quickly follows, catching up to it again, hammer fisting it into the ground. Indivaya lands down on top of it, smashing it further into the ground, flipping off of it. Big bang attack. Vegeta yells, launching a bright blue orb of energy into the hole. The attack lights up the entire area, burning the machine to dust. All 3 quickly push their backs together and await the next attacker. The planet is silent around them, as no attack comes. Could that have been all of them? Vegeta asks. I don't think so. He made it seem like they are remotely controlled, so there should be more. Kakarot explains, dropping out of Super Saiyan to rest. The other 2 remain powered up, as they are both still fresh, while Kakarot has had the shit beat out of him for almost 2 hours. The little moon has almost rotated enough to again be on the light side, so the planet far above is slowing, becoming visible again. As the time slowly passes, they contemplate how to deal with this threat. Father, if the machines are remotely controlled, it must be from the Big Geat Star itself. If we can destroy it, we should be able to kill them all at the same time. Indivaya states. Vegeta grunts in response. After another 10 minutes of no further attacks, the planet has rotated enough for the gas giant to be visible, and they are all able to see the massive machine attached to it. As they watch it, what appears to be a large black cloud is streaming from it, forming in front of it. The cloud begins shifting, moving towards the moon, an incoming cloud of death and destruction. Shit, there are thousands of them, Indivaya says what they are all thinking. Kakarot, give your energy to my son, quickly, Vegeta says, placing his own hand on Indivia's shoulder. Father, Indivaya asks as Kakarot does the same. Son, you're stronger than the both of us, so you'll be able to handle the energy. You need to put it all into one attack and aim it at the Geat Star. It's the only chance, Vegeta explains as he begins to channel his energy. Kakarot's aura flashes to gold as he ascends again, pumping it all into Indivaya. Holy shit! Indivaya thinks as the massive influx of energy fills his body. Tiny motes of electricity fill the air around him, as he starts powering up to his absolute maximum, letting his rage at Frisia fill him. Kakarot collapses to his knees, still pumping his energy, while Vegeta begins screaming, pushing everything he has. Indivaya raises both hands above his head, as though he's about to throw a ball, and begins pushing the energy into his palms. A bright golden orb fills his hands, pulsing in time with his own heartbeat. It jumps in size once, twice, 3 times, as he clamps down on it, concentrating the energy. Now, son, do it! Vegeta yells, as he too collapses, Super Saiyan fading away. Royal decree! He screams, throwing the ball toward the incoming cloud. The ball of energy shoots off, quickly covering the distance from the surface to the top of the atmosphere, breaking through. The cloud of incoming metal Frisia frees, as the attack grows even larger, slamming into the cloud. As it eats through the cloud, it slows down. No. It's going to miss. He screams as the attack eats through the cloud, entering the atmosphere of the gas giant. Vegeta looks up, seeing the remnants of the metal Frisia still incoming. There are still far too many to stop. All is lost. He thinks as they begin to break through the atmosphere high above. There is a pause, as each begins to realize that their last-ditch attack wasn't enough. Father, I'm so dash, Indivaya begins to say, but pauses as he sees something miraculous. Look! He exclaims, pointing upwards. Vegeta turns back to the gas giant high above, as the Big Geat Star begins to move. The Frisia are falling from the sky in droves, crashing into the ground, as the massive machine appears to be disengaging from the planet. What is it doing? Kakarot asks. No one answers as they watch the spectacle above. As the massive machine pulls out, it begins to fly away from the gas giant, in the opposite direction of the planet Vegeta. With a look of horror, Vegeta says, "Get to the pods. We need to leave now." As he launches into the air. Space. I'm still floating in space, meditating, wondering how long I'm going to be sitting out here. I had considered simply flying, as my acceleration would be infinite. But there was nothing to stop me from slamming into something at near relativistic speeds. Easier to wait, as I'm sure King Kai will check in on me eventually. I had been floating for nearly 2 days when I feel a slight tingle on the edge of my senses. What was that? I think, my eyes snapping open. I concentrate in that rough direction, waiting, till I'm able to feel it again. Indivaya, when did you get so strong? Wait, this is my chance. I think, quickly locking in. With a pop, I'm gone. Outpost 2A. With a pop, I appear, but I'm met with a dire warning. Warning! The local system is unstable. In and 15 seconds, the local body will transition and begin to undergo thermonuclear fusion. Due to a lack of mass, it will deteriorate quickly. Leave at once. With a deep gasp of my first lungful of beautiful, beautiful air in days, I concentrate and pop away again. I appear in front of Indivaya, grabbing his arm with no hesitation. A second pop, I appear in front of Vegeta, who was leading the group. Grab on! I scream, as Vegeta slams into me, wrapping my free arm around him. Kakarot catches up, grabbing on as well. As the timer hits 0, a final pop, and we're gone. Outpost 2A. High above, the luminous green gas giant trembles, a ripple working its way across the surface. Deep below, the core begins a runaway thermonuclear reaction, moving faster and faster, as more hydrogen fuses into helium. As the gravity grows, more and more is pulled in. From start to expansion, less than 2 seconds had passed. The surface boils, as the entire planet turns into a firestorm. The expanding, newly formed star is never able to reach a stable stellar mass. As the core breaks down, the massive expansion speeds up even further. The resulting explosion decimates the entire local solar system. No one is there to see a large mass of metal and circuitry be engulfed completely. Planet Vegeta. With a pop, all 4 scions appear, dropping down onto the floor of the palace. I hop to my feet, staring down at the 3 scions. Kakarot looks worse for wear, while Vegeta looks exhausted. King Vegeta, what happened? I ask. He glares up at me before saying, Frieza wasn't as dead as you thought he was. Oh, oops. I say sheepishly. The doors behind us slam open, an attendant rushing in. My king. Our sensors are showing a Class 7 explosion near Outpost 2A. He gasps out. King Vegeta facepalms, shaking his head wearily. Unknown planet. A tall man, well into his 40s, sits down at the table he built with his own hands. As he bites into the bread he makes daily, a tingle of unease passes over him. With a huff, he stands quickly and ducks out the doorway to the outside world. Staring up into the sky, he senses a large power level far off in the galaxy. A flash of rage passes over him before he clamps down on it. It has nothing to do with me, he thinks as he settles back down to dinner.